Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Scaling Brokerage podcast. Today, Meru has been kind enough to bless us some of his time and share his experiences in real estate. So I'll kick it right off to him, let him tell us a little bit about himself and his business.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Background with me, I started, I'm kind of an interesting one. I started in the culinary field, so I do have a culinary degree, and got into real estate kind of just trying to get out of the restaurant industry. So I got into it about 15 years ago. Yeah, the time was, I was foolish enough to think that real estate, you can manage your time better. Not realizing it takes up more time than the restaurant, but nonetheless, love real estate. Got into it about 15 years ago as an agent. Maybe about 3 years in, I decided to get my broker's license and start my own brokerage. I'm the broker owner for Remax Oasis Dream Homes here in Northeast Ohio. Been a broker since it's been about 10, 11 years. And yeah, haven't looked back.
Love it. Love it. So tell us a little bit about how is that first step, going from, I don't know, and maybe whichever one was a little bit more challenging, going from the culinary side to, real estate as a whole, or was it a harder transition going from the agent to broker?
I think changing professions was one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
Going even back further, I migrated here for, it's been 18 years, 19 years from the Caribbean. I'm actually from Trinidad, living in Northeast Ohio, and migrated here to Northeast Ohio because of work and, not knowing anybody here. It was hard to say you're getting into real estate, but I followed a lot of the great coaches out there and built my sphere, started to meet people, and built the business off of that. As an agent, I hustled because I did really want to get out of the restaurant industry. I was a manager and just took too much time. And, just the key to it is just hustle, build your sphere. And that's how I did it. From that, I think I did pretty good in 2-3 years and decided, I wanted to know more, wanted to become a broker and take it that step further. That transition wasn't, real estate agents, you're responsible just for yourself and your business. Yeah. Now, as a broker, you're responsible for yourself plus the other agents that you recruit into your company. It's a big responsibility.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about how have you dealt with some of that responsibility, as it kind of continues to mount and grow. Do you do anything to kind of help, do you really live by the calendar? Do you do anything that really helps you, manage and be able to stay on top of it?
I do. I will tell you, I'm my wife, who's involved in the business as well. She's the operations person behind everything. She's not licensed, but she'll tell you, I'm a walking encyclopedia with real estate. I like to learn as much as I can. Last year, I was vice chairman of the MLS board. I still sit on the MLS board. 2023, I was the chairman of the president of our local board as well. So I keep myself involved in the industry. I'm always involved in the industry. One thing I learned a long time ago, as a broker, you have to learn to time block. And that's super important. I am, and it may, I don't want to say the word, but like sitting in my office here, one of the tools that I use for time blocking is I wouldn't say the word, I'll spell it, my Alexa. Because if I say it, she'll.
Yes,
and what I do is I'll say, set a timer for an hour or set a timer for an hour and a half. And I block my time. When that timer goes off, I know it's on to the next project. So I do spend a lot of time blocking. I use my calendar as well. I have appointments. I put it in my calendar immediately. And I live by that. If it's not in my calendar, I'm going to miss it.
I love it. I love it. No, and we have to, or I should say, more or less, you guys have to, as brokerage owners, to be able to manage and stay up on top of things, and try not to miss anything as well.
Yeah.
The calendar, and having those time blocks is definitely huge. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Awesome, awesome. And to dive a little bit into the marketing recruiting side, do you guys do anything to market the brokerage? Do you guys do anything to get the word out there in your sphere there?
So I do a lot of social media. One of the big things when I got involved in like the board and the MLS board and stuff like that, I like the network. And
Yeah.
that's one of the big places that you do get, you find a lot of the recruits. I go to activities, I go to events, so that we can build relationships. I am not a fan of cold calling agents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people live by that, some brokerages live by that. I'm not a fan. I think agents, if they're doing good work, they're getting 5-6 calls a day, just people trying to recruit, not
Yeah.
knowing them. I'm all about building the relationships first. That's always a challenge about in regards to recruiting, but relationship building is the best way you can do it.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. So on the recruiting side, you guys do kind of more like attraction based recruiting versus, kind of pounding the phones and chasing them down.
We do. I do a lot of social media stuff as well. I do little tidbits to agents on social media, as well as a lot of my training at the office. I do invite other agents to come to it. It's not just exclusively for ours.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate for realtor safety in our industry. I'm involved in a lot of the big organizations for realtor safety. That's a big thing that I push as well. Doing safety classes. Not many people do that. These are things that I do.
That's awesome. And I'm sure I'm maybe guessing, but I'm sure most of those agents are probably on the newer side, correct?
There's a
By the time
mix.
the classes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a mix of them. Many of the agents that I get from outside that come into the office for some of the training are agents, again, that I build relationships with.
That's awesome.
Sometimes what I do also is, and some advice to some of the brokers, many times you see agents, if you're trying to recruit them, they're from another brokerage. They tend to not want to come to your office for a class. Somebody might see them, or you're just going to have them in your little domain that you're going to keep them there. I do many of my classes when I know it can attract other agents. I keep it outside of my office. I keep it at a neutral venue somewhere so that agents will want to come.
I love it. I love it knowing that, and the neutral, being in a neutral location can be huge. Especially, not every agent feels comfortable, going into the office, and they feel like they might get cornered or, get sold on something maybe they don't want at the time. Having that neutral space definitely can provide, another layer of comfortability for that agent that's even maybe just wanting to learn more about us.
And then to add to that, if I do keep it in a neutral place, I tend to use affiliates as well. So your lender, your title company, I let them know, hey, bring your people, invite them, come to this thing, and you get to meet newer people as well and help, and network with them and touch base with them after. It's a great way. Actually, right now, I had an event about a month ago, and out of that event, there was a couple agents that I have talked to already, and we're in that cycle of trying to get them over.
Yeah, and sometimes too, like you mentioned, building that relationship and being there, when either they need you need them, whichever way it may go. But building that relationship is huge. Having that and the kind of lower pressure as well. The agents really notice that. And they have to, and something that their colleagues, other agents in the industry tend to notice as well. When we're doing things the right way. We don't always have to be chasing them down and trying to bring them in, more so just letting them come to us. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you guys do anything else past the events? Like anything else? I know you mentioned events and social media.
Okay. Something that I do, and not many brokers here do it, is transactions. Agents that we co-broked with, I tend to reach out to them. I send a little postcard thanking them for helping close this deal. I send an email out as well as I give them a call. And I don't just call to say, hey, I want you to come here and move over to us. But I sincerely just thank them for helping close the transaction, close the deal. If I know it's an agent that fits into our culture, I will reach out to them as well to see if they'll want to meet. Let's talk. It may not be the right fit, but I would love to have a relationship with you. So that's another way that I touch base with agents.
And that's awesome. That goes a long way too. Even if we just have that conversation and like you're saying, maybe they're not the right person or the right fit, or it's not the right timing. Maybe they're talking to an agent, 2 days from now, and they were like, looking for exactly what you have. So, we can get referrals that way, and, more agents, different business. So yeah, building those relationships is huge. And then this is just something I want to touch on as well. Kind of what was it like coming in? I know a lot of brokerage owners that I've talked to, at least on the podcast or in the past, they at least have some kind of familiarity. They've grown up in the market. They've, grown up close by the market, usually something in that sphere, maybe already done real estate before, now want to take it to a new market. What was it like kind of, getting used to the real estate end, and at the same time, trying to make new friends in the industry and build that, build that network?
It's difficult, but luckily for me, I have that type of personality. I can fit in. I can make friends pretty fast, and taking up leadership roles in the industry is something that I love. And you get to meet new people, get to talk to new people, and I've built great relationships with brokers from other companies. Nice. And we can go have lunch and talk about the business and the industry and not have to worry about us competing with each other, because it's just genuine friendships. So building those relationships are not that difficult, especially as a broker. One of the things I always love to do with agents is add value. I love to coach. I love to teach. And agents appreciate that. Even if they're not at your brokerage, it's a great way of building a relationship, teaching a new agent how to do something. They appreciate it. Most of them do, I should say.
Oh yeah.
And the ones that don't, you know what? They may or may not survive, but they may not be a good culture or a good fit for our office.
Absolutely. No, and that speaks volumes. The building those bridges, making those relationships in the industry, and still giving them the same, the same care and level of detail, no matter how it may already know it's going to work out, or how we may think it's going to work out. That's awesome that you still spend the time with the agents and still give them each the same chance. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And what the last thing on recruiting? Have you guys ever used any systems, any coaches, anything like that in the past?
I did use a coach a couple times, but I felt it was too, how would you put that? It was too regimental, and I wasn't a big fan of it. Again, it comes with just being natural with people.
Yeah.
People will tend to gravitate to you if they feel they want to come. The simple as that. If you're offering value to an agent, and they're going to come.
I love it. No, hey, and it can't be any more true. If we can provide that value, especially I know you talked about kind of being, some of the newer agents, maybe first experience, that goes a long way. They won't forget that. If they ever hear an agent down the road, maybe having a similar struggle, that's either if they, if they don't show them right there, they'll recommend them, to go to one of your classes. So that's awesome. That's a great way to, it's been a very common theme so far. Most of the things we spoke of, get your name out there, get ourselves out there and get in front of more people. So that's awesome. To dive a little bit into the future, future vision and growth for you guys. What are some of the goals that you have this year in the brokerage?
So it's kind of, I don't know if it's unique, but I'm not a big fan of having a mega office. I'm not about 100, 200 agents. I want to have quality, not quantity. And I'm hoping maybe this year to maybe right now we're about 15, 16 agents in the office. Pretty good to manage them. However, for this year, I do want to put in maybe about 10, 15 more. My goal maximum could be 40 agents. And that's where I want it. And when I say 40 agents, it may be even teams, because I'm looking at teams now to say let's bring in a couple teams. into the office. We don't have many teams in the office, but that's my goal. And it's now I sell as well, but I don't prospect. I just work off of my referrals.
Yeah.
But my goal is to sell less and less and really concentrate on coaching agents, recruiting them, making sure that they are well trained to bring business. I have a philosophy with agents. I train them directly. I don't pass them off to somebody else.
I
I
love
do
it.
the training with my agents. I do one-on-one trainings. Let's say new agents will come in. We have a one-on-one, a new agent boot camp, teaching them from the basics. I call it real estate for dummies, where they're learning the very, very basics of the business. And I do that one-on-one so that agents don't feel too embarrassed to ask the dumb question.
Yeah.
They can, and I tell them I prefer they ask me than ask anybody else, so that they get the right answer. I have a philosophy, a little tagline, if you may. It's like, if you fail, I fail. If you succeed, I succeed.
I
So it's
love
my
it.
job to make sure you succeed. And that's why I take that hand holding very seriously with agents.
I like it. I like it. And just curious, is that just like newer agents that you're doing the more the one-on-ones with? Like if a seasoned guy comes in doing like, 12, 15 deals a year already.
Nope.
Okay.
I deal with everybody because everybody's at a different level. But with the new agents, it's like that. But the middle of the road, the higher producers, I still do the same thing. Actually, this year I started something where I was experimenting. I'm not the big techie guy, but integrating my calendar so that they can get into my calendar, book some time, put an hour in, and we can sit one-on-one and look at your business. Where are you? What are your challenges? What do you need help with? What questions do you have? And even the seasoned agents need that. Look at 2024. Our industry changed a lot, and by changing that much, there are a lot of changes that they still don't understand, and you have to spend time coaching even the new the seasoned agents.
Yeah. Yeah, especially things like, non-settlement last year, obviously changing, some things we have to do on the back end. It's a great point. Even those seasoned agents, it always helps to, have that one-on-one, obviously build the relationship even further. And answer any questions, they might have, or anything about any new legalities or anything that, might save us some extra time on the back end, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know this year kind of, or short-term goal, as far as just the 1 year. What about, I know 2030 kind of sounds like the future. What about 2030? What would you like to look back in the past 5 years when 2030 comes about and, see yourself have accomplished?
I want to see being able to get out of the business. When I say get out of the business, that I would have had a business running on autopilot. I am 52 now. That by that time I would be 57, 58. I want to be able to walk away from the business, go on a vacation for a week or two, and not have to worry about it, and then come back and everything is moving as smoothly as when I left it. So that's my vision really for it. Putting systems in place. And the only way to do that is putting systems in place.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and I speak for, Alan. He's here in the brokerage with over 300 agents. And yeah, that's definitely a huge piece of, like, I think it was not this 2024, but in 2023 in November, he was actually able to take the entire month off and come back, still well-oiled machine, systems still running, recruiting still happening. But yeah, to your point, that comes with, having the right people, the right systems, the right things in place. So absolutely couldn't agree more with you there, having to have the right system. Awesome. I know those kind of the goals. So what about some advice for newer brokerage owners? Do you have anything that, if they're getting started in today's market, kind of some advice you'd give them?
Newer brokerages, if you're starting brand new, I learned a long time ago when I first started, there was a broker out of Canada, actually. Became friends with him, and he always told me, and I didn't understand that until I really got into the business. One piece of advice he gave, he says, now his office has maybe about 200 agents, really huge. They have like 3-4 offices. He told me one thing. He says, you're a new broker, but don't stop selling. And now I understand what he meant, because I always thought, oh my God, no, you're going to be competing with your agents or whatever.
Yeah.
But he meant, don't stop selling, because you'll get out of that groove, the thing that you love. And by selling, you get to still understand the processes of the industry. When you become a broker and you step away from selling, you become more of a manager and not really being down there knowing what's happening on the ground. Example, let's say the buyer's broker's agreement from last year. If I wasn't selling, I wouldn't understand when the agents are venting to you that people are bitching at them for not signing it and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you're out there understanding it. So that was one piece of advice he gave me. The other thing I can give new brokers is be recruiting all the time. Your mind has to be on recruiting and growing your office that way. You need agents, quality agents in your office to keep growing. So always be recruiting. Find your strategies to recruit.
Absolutely. And I know I've heard a lot of broker owners say on here, you know, if we're not growing, we're slowly dying. So absolutely, and to test that, we always got to be recruiting, and especially, you know, when those good and quality agents come along, you know, we want to be ready for them. We want to be able to bring them on. So that's awesome. One extra question I like to ask. I don't know if you think about any quotes or have it. I know you gave me one earlier there, but I don't know if you have any quotes you think of when times are going good, when times are going bad, that you'd like to think back to, that you'd like to share with the podcast or audience.
Oh my God. Any quotes? No, I can't think of anything right now.
No worries, and it's just something, you know, if you have something you think about, a lot of people like use like religious quotes that, you know, they have kind of ingrained in the mind there. So just curious, it's no big deal there. Well, no, that was awesome. I really do appreciate you coming out today, Meru. Let the people know where can they find you at? How can they get in touch with you if they're, and I apologize if we ever mentioned where you're at currently.
So I'm in Northeast Ohio. It's
I apologize. You did mention that. My apologies.
You're fine. And I say Northeast Ohio because our main office is in a place just outside of Akron, the Akron Cleveland market. So it's a small town or small city called Wadsworth, but we cover all of Northeast Ohio from the Cleveland Akron market. To find me, you can get me online. It's my email address, Meru Maharaj at remax.net, or you find me meruhomesforsale.com. That's my website. Or you find me on social media. I'm all over the place. So that's a key to your business. You always want to be online. You always want to be easy to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that omnipresent, or that social media presence, it can be huge. But you guys are in Meru. If you're in the area, in the Ohio area, looking for, you know, maybe some new ideas, you're a broker looking at, you know, some different strategies on recruiting, anything there that we talked about. I'm sure Meru would love to chat with you. So I'll link everything down below. Email, a website, any way we can get in contact with them. And really, thank you again today for coming out, Meru. I appreciate you.
I loved it. Thank you.